Brought to you by Clo Group Limited. Quality ladder and access equipment, helping Paisley Rugby Club scale the heights.
This afternoon we're at the Anchor Ground Paisley for the Scottish Hydroelectric Plate. First round clash between Paisley and Carrick. These two are in the same league. Carrick are second, only 1 point ahead of Paisley, so it's going to be close this afternoon. And even in pretty awful conditions, Carrick giving the ball plenty of air early on. Centre Davy Lyon busting through there, just knocked into touch by Brian McCready. And in the early set piece stages, well, Carrick getting the upper hand there, putting Paisley in the back foot. And Steve Jeremy, we fumble there, but then switch of direction. Paul Malum, whoop, a fumble, and is this a chance for Carrick? Snaffled up there by Simpson McCraith. And the forwards piling in. Out to Ewan McGregor. McGregor looking for a gap, not finding it, but Ewan Alexander, and out then again to David Lyon. A big, powerful runner, this boy. Inside pass, and oh, just not going to hand there. Picked up by McGregor, but pass went forwards, the referee Ian Henderson. And Paisley straight back into it, downfield. Oh, what a tackle that was that Paul Malum got on the end of. Ewan McGregor enjoyed that, I can tell you. But Malum straight into the ruck, setting the ball back there for Paisley. And Ryan McCready out to Joel Dunnett cutting inside off his left foot. Well tackled there by Ewan Alexander. But Paisley keeping up the pressure and not rolling away as the referee Ian Henderson. Penalty, upstep fullback Gavin Newlands. First points on the board. Paisley 3, Carrick 0. Carrick from the restart straight back into Paisley territory, and Carrick quite determined to get something on the board even though they were facing the elements. The ball out to Ewan McGregor again into midfield. We chip through and woof, collision there. Gavin Newlands didn't quite get his hands on it, coming back on the Carrick side, and this time it's Davy Lyon and handing off 1-2 players and open sea and diving through the big Carrick centre, getting the first try on the board for the men from Maybole. And well, the weather just got worse and worse and worse, and you can see from that Paisley fumble how hard it was to pick up the ball, but well, when he got his hands on it, there was no stopping Adam Naylor. What a run by the big fella down the left wing, and a desperate tackle at the end there by Gavin Newlands pulled him down. But ball in hand, it just showed, even with the elements against them, Carrick were up for it this afternoon. And scrambling defence there by Paisley, just short of their own line, but they managed to take some momentum out of that Carrick attack. But Carrick still keeping up that field position, keeping the pressure on the Paisley line. Looking for a wee bit of space. Ewan McGregor not quite getting over the line there. Held up short. Mike Somerville working hard there for the Paisley defence. And eventually the ball held up. Not going anywhere, said Ian Henderson. And Paisley again working the ball back downfield, using the wind. But Carrick, what a lovely wee flip there by McGregor to Ewan Alexander. And Kenny McCahill out to the big man again, Adam Naylor. Again pulled down by fullback Gavin Newlands. But oh, great support by McCahill inside to Grant Alexander. And eventually the ball gets back to McCahill over in the corner. And I tell you what, on a sunny day with a dry ball, you'll not see as good a try as that. Spectacular handling by Carrick to take a 10 points to 3 lead. And Kenny McCahill, veteran fullback, well, you'll remember that one. Paisley weren't for giving up. Still under pressure in the set piece, but still managing to work the ball back. Out to Steve Jeremy, inside to winger Gordon Powrie. Carrick defence pretty well set there, but handling on the grounds the referee Ian Henderson, and a minute into injury time in the first half, Gavin Newlands reduced the margin to 4 points, and it all to play for in the second half.
Brought to you by Clo Group Limited. Quality ladder and access equipment, helping Paisley Rugby Club scale the heights.
into the second half, and although the result was important, I think some players' minds were on survival rather than scoring. And Paisley in the first few minutes putting the pressure back on the Carrick line, out to Jeremy, inside ball there to centre Ryan McCready. The Carrick defence pretty well organised, digging away there for that ball. Ewan Gray out to flanker Andrew Judge, getting closer and closer to the Carrick line. And I tell you what, some pretty good hands here considering the conditions. And that knock on took the sting out of the Paisley attack, that is for sure. And with the wind behind them, Carrick able to work down the field. And look at those conditions. I tell you what, it almost qualifies rugby for one of those daft extreme sports. And Carrick beavering away in there, but they've all worked back on the Paisley side. Downfield, smashing take and run there by Simpson McGrath, all the way up to the 22. Ball out to Grant Alexander. Look at those hands. Again, it's that man in the middle, Davy Lyon, but a wee fumble, and that's another move that breaks down. But credit to both sides for the way they've handled the ball in atrocious conditions. And even against the wind, Paisley managing to work downfield, get that field position. The ball out to Jeremy, thumping into the Carrick defence. But again, the ball slowing down, taking the momentum out of the Paisley attack. A real thumping run there by Neil Ritchie. And this time the ball was back that wee bit more quickly. Ewan Gray out to number 8, Mike Somerville. And Ewan Alexander gets the ball and a tackle at the same time. Chance here for Paisley. Jeremy to Gordon Powery inside, the ball going loose, and it's anybody's ball until Kenny McCahill tidies up and puts in what the kicking technical experts call a big welly down the park, which was enough to take the pressure off Carrick and let them set up a field position. Keep the ball secure, keep it tight, take it around the fringes. Willie Wiley driving in there, keeping the ball tight. And then all of a sudden, let's give it some air. And unbelievable handling again in the conditions. The ball out to Kenny McCahill, outside him. Simpson McCrath in for a spectacular try. No, forward pass, said referee Ian Henderson. Well, that was the last clear-cut chance for either side. And as the clock ran down, Carrick stayed in control. Ewan McGregor finally popping that one into touch. Final whistle goes. Carrick take the spoils. But all credit to both sides for playing some terrific rugby in the most dreadful conditions.
I thought our gain line defence in the first half was excellent. We kept them at bay. The back three worked reasonably well in the conditions, fielded a lot of ball, so we turned around at half time in the lead with the wind behind us. We were always going to go in from there. Didn't stop us playing any decent expansive rugby despite the conditions.
Well, these two sides will meet again in the league. I'll bet it'll be just as close then. But after today's result, it's Carrick who go through to the second round of the Scottish Hydroelectric Plate. This is Ron Evans for Scottish Rugby Television at Paisley.
Brought to you by Clo Group Limited. Quality ladder and access equipment, helping Paisley Rugby Club scale the heights.